What is up, innovators? I know it's been a while since I've been on a DJI microphone in who knows how long it's been, but it's good to be back after like almost 2 months at least. But today's topic is going to be a continuation of where we left off with the raw truth about consulting firms and media. I think it's about time that we actually expand this topic because it is just a huge topic. It's like, my gosh, it is a ginormous topic. And it took me 4 takes to upload that video. 4. And this is just only one this time. So, another reason why you should do your due diligence on who you partner with, regardless if it's a private equity firm, consulting firms, medias, or ginormous corporations like Vanguard, Blackstone, BlackRock. Any of these big firms and corporations, you have to do your due diligence, or otherwise you're going to be on the losing deal versus a win-win situation. And I think that's the part that we didn't get into in part 1. And I talked about my personal reasons. Now, we have to get into the collective one. That is literally what it's all about this time. And no, it's not going to be the cussing version of part 1. No, this is going to be more of how can we deal with these types of firms, groups, and organizations. This is the organization part this time around. It's the organization. Like we, the people, and all these types of stuff. This is what we're going to be all about. So this is completely different. So here's the thing. When you look at these houses, neighborhoods, friends and families, how can we actually support one another even if a bad deal does go through? Layoffs, this and that. It's a much bigger factor than what we realized. It's a very big factor. And recently I was watching I think his name is Orlando. You probably heard of him from all these job layoffs and budgeting. Orlando University, you know what I'm talking about. No, I'm not talking about the one in Florida. I'm talking about the YouTuber. I actually watched this guy, and I like the dude. I don't remember his last name, but if you have the channel link, just let me know. But he does talk about a very good point that I am now about to talk about is you got to focus on yourself and then focus the group around you type of deal. And although I don't agree with all of his opinions, I think the point actually resonates with me, especially now that I actually have Nomadic Path. And it's also in the link description down below if you're interested in looking at it. But now that I have it, and I still go to church, and I still have a job, now that I have all these factors and savings and investments of all kinds, I think it's a very good topic, not only for myself, but for anyone that has watched this channel since day 1, within close to 9 months, which is freaking incredible. Well, it will be 9 months by the time it gets to July 20th, but it is such a big deal. So, the main reason why I'm uploading this video is to finish out the 2-part series that we started 2 days ago. Technically, I am uploading a day before it gets released, but let's be fair, I do them all the time. And Zoom has just happened to be a lot easier than doing it on DJI every week. Holy cow, those gigabytes just add up so quickly. But aside from that, I do think there is hope to actually doing your due diligence, not only on the firm, not only on private equity firm, but also on yourself. And I did talk about it in part 1, but now we're about to expand it because this is just too important. And let's remember one thing. Consulting firms and media also have power in real estate and renters as well. This is a huge part that we didn't get into in part 1, but now we're getting into it in part 2. Yes, there's corruption. Yes, it may have genocidal ties as well, and trafficking, which is also why I cussed a lot in part 1. But part 2 is going to be completely different. And I know I said it already, but I truly mean it this time, because I already got all the anger and frustration out of the way in the previous one. If you want to check it out, go right ahead, because it's already important. But like I said, not all consulting firms and medias are bad. Not all of them. It's up to you and your due diligence to actually make the decision. And I already made that decision a long time ago, and I rejected it. So there's that. But I don't know about you or anybody else that are in that situation. But like I said, we have to do our part and our due diligence to avoid bad deals altogether, regardless of what income bracket or business opportunities you have. You have to have your due diligence and humanity in check. However, there is a lot of people that are actually kind of tired of this modern system that we have right now. And a lot of it is a good thing because it lets us know that there is hope and there is the tunnel on the other side. However, it's going to take quite a while to get to that point. And I don't know how long it will take, but I will say one thing is for sure, is that there is still hope. And the question is, how are we going to get there if we're dealing with these types of consulting firms, medias, private equity, whatever it is? Part 2 is a much bigger expansion from part 1. It's a big leap. But I do think that we all have a chance to win in life, which I always talk about at the end of each video. Most videos at least, but this is already a much bigger topic than it needs to be. But I think it's really time that we all have our due diligence checked, and also accountability, which unfortunately nowadays is left questioned. But it doesn't need to be questioned. It needs to be mandatory. Unfortunately, we can be very greedy bastards. And I'm gonna be very honest, we can be greedy. Oh yeah, that's for sure. We could be completely greedy, and next thing you know, nothing is left checked. That's the problem. And we need to do a much better job at having our due diligence and accountability checked, regardless if it's ourselves or with a group of folks, because that's what matters right now. And as someone that...
Are you tired of your corporate overlords owning you? It's time that you own your freedom with RetroFocus 85. It will save 20% of your entire order, regardless if you're new and old customer. You get to apply this promo code on nomadicpath.com. And if you act right now before September 15th, 2026, you will actually save a significant amount of money, your freedom and liberty, and your life. Act right now before September 15th, 2026.
I think it's time that we do that. And like I said in part 1, not all of them are like this. It just depends which one it is and what they actually do. And they actually match the description of what said service really is. And yes, we do have a quality control problem within those industries. And let's be fair, consulting firms are a part of it. And no, I am not an expert. What I will say is that They play a huge part in society, and yet we forget our most blessed and gifted traits of ourselves due to greed and corruption. And that is a big deal, especially as of right now. And let's be fair, a deal is kind of like making your own bed. Technically it is. If it's a bad deal, you sleep in it. If it's a good deal, sleep in victory. And by the way, I made those terms up, by the way, just to illustrate a point that I'm trying to make. But I do think these are things that we should think about every single day, even if we do forget it. And guess what? We all forget. We all do. But it is a beautiful day in beautiful Wolf Earth. Because it is beautiful. Especially those trees behind me. But anyways, let's get back to the main, bigger points of the topic. I do think that great deals can turn people into legends, but we gotta know who we're dealing with at this point. Or otherwise, it's gonna go south. But thankfully, in my situation, I had the courage and the balls to say no. Because why? Because I want to keep my integrity and my soul. And I don't know about anyone else, but if you're like me, you would have said no as well. But that's just in my case and in my scenario. But it's different. It's different in one's life. But again, we have to keep our due diligence in check, or otherwise we're going to be lost forever, and there will be no other way to rebuild society. So that's the truth right there. But at the exact same time, it could be built for something greater for our children, grandchildren, and children's children. Pretty much generation to generation. That's the bigger part that they're never going to tell. That's the bigger part. And let's remember, it's also in our credit cards. It's also in our banks, governments, everywhere. It's a huge deal. And like I said before, there will be less to no cussing in this video alone because it's part 2. And I'm telling you, if you're in a bad deal, just leave as soon as possible, or at least exit when it expires. It's kind of like a lease. It's kind of like a lease. It's kind of like a mortgage. It's like anything in life. Like, really. So this is more of a philosophical version of what we just talked about in part 1. But here's the good news. Not everyone is like this. Not everyone is greedy and actually wants to take everything as much as possible. There are good parts of humanity and there are bad parts of humanity. So unfortunately, in that industry, there's a lot of bad apples. But it depends on how big the problem really is. But as I said before, I'm no expert. I'm just viewing what I really think is going on and how this could impact someone in their situation. Because I tell you one thing, if it's a bad deal and you have a chance to quickly exit, just exit as soon as possible. And if you work for a firm or a media that actually has all those red flags that I described in the last video, please leave and create your exit as soon as you can. Because those are unavoidable traps that can enslave someone for the rest of their life. And as I said before, there's hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel, right there. The question is, are you going to take that exit? And it could be anything at this point. It could be absolutely anything. It could be anything that you are thinking about right now. But at this moment, we got to really, really think hard of which type of people you're actually doing business with, even if it is an actual one. You can't just jump yourself in the den of wolves, or otherwise they're going to eat you up alive. And thankfully, in my case, I escaped it before they eat me. The only reason I was in that meeting is to push myself to my maximum limit, and thankfully, that goal was achieved. However, as I've gotten older and I realize that this industry is not exactly what I think it is, I had to do a lot of research. And again, this is like an illustration from the last one. They're not exactly who you think they are. And unfortunately, in my case, I had to take the hard punch just to know how bad it is. But that doesn't have to be you. You can do whatever it is that you put on your mind on and actually do it. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but I am going to tell you, once you choose that path, you got to stick with it until the very end and make it. And that is it for part 2 of this series. And holy cow, that was a lot. So if you enjoy videos like this and you want to support me even further than last time, do me a favor, like and share, and comment down below, and subscribe to the Banister channel. Also, go check out the alternative forum known as Nomadic Freedom Forum, where groups like you and me could join and actually discuss what our great future looks like. So join the community down in the description down below. Also check out all my social media accounts in the link description. Check out Nomadic Path. We do have a 20% promo code known as RetroFocus85. It will save 20% of your entire order plus free shipping, and you get to save a lot of money and still get the merch in the link down the description for the entire summer until September 15th. And other than that, that is it for today's video. Take the golden pill. The revolution is now, and we're counting on all of us to win in life every single day. I'll see y'all in the next video. Good luck.
If you enjoy videos like this, and you're actually interested in videos like this one that just happened recently, do me a favor, like and share and comment down below and subscribe to this channel right here and right now. With that in mind, I'll see you in the next video, Innovator.